honestly...
If they do that in Game 5 and they leave it open, I'm going to lose my mind. There's no way. I mean, especially the way that Zay's played in game number 3.
Because I think it's happening.
No.
I think they're doing it again.
No.
No, I think they are.
No, there's no way. They're not. No. You know, it gets a big cheer from the crowd as well. I think that Zeus deserves the respect.
He does.
Stop giving him Rumble. The guy's a madman. Don't let him play the best champ on the patch for the last bunch of patches. So, Rumble's off the board, which means that Jin is available, which was one of the previous bans in the slot. Here's the Maokai ban.
A blue side Maokai ban. Testament to Lucid and how much he's improved on the pick. Still, obviously, having a pretty messy series, but as I think looked consistently solid. Ziggs taken away as well.
Tristana available.
Tristana and Corki are both up. Sejuani's there as well.
Yeah, maybe they just take Sedge and then take one of the ones that is left of Corki and Trist. Owner is just so good on it, but they're going to go Ashe instead. So a different look, and especially with Ziggs off the board, it kind of does open up that bottom lane.
Really does. Ashe has really fallen out of favor because of the fact that Ziggs makes life very, very tough. We'll see what DK wants to go for in that bot lane matchup. He can still go for the MF. Kind of reach a stalemate as the pick away from Owner really does feel that way. I think Lucid's fine, but not necessarily as much of a standout on this pick, I think, as Owner was. But I think Owner also had a relatively weak game last time around, even with some good early setup that was there for him. I think this should be Tristana. I think Corki, this series just hasn't really seemed to be of necessary power level. Clearly, Lucid and Showmaker having a bit of a good time, and I think the MF makes sense. Lily MF remains to be a very strong combo. Zyra here for Owner could be what they go towards, and yeah, the setup and the slows definitely quite strong, as there is that Corki. It's Tristana.
Yeah, Tristana's still available, so seems like kind of the go-to in terms of the tier list, unless Showmaker wanted to do something crazy. Do you see he's still talking, he's got a sly grin on.
Is it time?
So they might just pick something else.
Are we saving counter pick for Showmaker? We've, depending on which era of DK/Dom when it's been, that's been very different experiences, obviously. I think most recent was the one we saw last was the Silas, which didn't, unfortunately, inspire a lot of confidence. Well, I'm gonna get banned away here.
He's playing Lilia mid.
Oh my god. This, if anything, it'd be King. You know? King, and it's like, this free core unit, insanely strong here for DK. I think for T1 as well, is a little bit more on the squishy side though. And I imagine that Zeus was going to be playing a carry because that's kind of how this series has felt. There is the Tristana ban. Should come as a no-brainer. And that kind of makes me believe that they're just going to slam like R4 Jax or Cassante if it's not banned and save counter pick for Showmaker. Although you don't need to because you know you're playing into the Corki. Is it just Nasus? I'm like...
Unless you pick a mid laner and they flex the Corki top.
Could happen. But then you know, right?
Yeah.
Is it,
I don't know why you would do that
Nasus?
anyway.
Like, Nasus did get banned in game 1, if I remember correctly.
Yes. First rotation.
Yeah.
By T1.
So could be that. But I don't like the Nasus as much into this amount of kite back.
It kind of looks like he's saying Nasus.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the Nasus ban. I do think Nasus is just kind of an obnoxious champion to play into.
GP. Not the first time it's been banned. What is happening here? Where is Showmaker going? He's sinking into his seat.
I think he wants to, Valdez.
There's...
Oh, the single shot.
No.
One game to decide whether they make it to Worlds.
Yasuo.
Is he locking it in?
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc.
There it is. Showmaker's LeBlanc. So feared it was getting banned very often against DK until higher tier stuff in the meta took it over.
As a mid-jungle 2v2 is going to make itemization very easy here for T1. But Showmaker specifically was the only player that got LeBlanc banned basically every single game.
Unless it's Lilia top as well. You go AD
Oh
jungle.
my god. Wait, into
Yeah, Lilia top and a Cassante. You could do it. I mean,
and
you
then
don't have to.
lock in the Lee?
Imagine. And then DK make it to world's 3rd seed with LeBlanc Lee.
All right, I think we got to kill Velda.
I feel like we're writing like the most hype script, but it's just not going to happen. It's just Lilia jungle. All right.
Poppy would be really, really solid here. Into LeBlanc, into Leona, getting an incredible amount of value. Poppy Sport does come through. Okay, well, I think we got excited over nothing.
I mean, hey, Gnar into Cassante. It's a match we've seen many times, and Kingen pretty confident in his Gnar as well.
Shouldn't come as a surprise. You also have Leona.
Still a bit of discussion going on.
Yeah, you still have the
But he's saying
Leona,
Gnar.
so I'm pretty sure that the prerequisite setup is going to be there. And I do think Leona and LeBlanc, as a duo, do have a ton of power. The Poppy, though, does kind of throw in a big curveball, and T1 in particular, like trying to get on top of Zyra, trying to get on top of Ashe, and Poppy definitely going to be really, really tough. And when everything is said and done, I think the teamfight comp here for T1 actually looks extremely solid. I know the Corki has really been lackluster, but you have great front line, a lot of ways to set up fights in your favor. With Cassante, you can get people out. You have Poppy, who can knock people away. I think the only thing is that your engage is pretty lackluster. Outside of Ashe Arrow or Poppy Stun, if you're not first to an objective, you're really relying on hitting that ultimate from the Poppy. But it does feel a lot more even than many of the drafts that we've had. There's not a lot of stuff that makes me go, oh, how did this happen? Like with the Rumble or with the Ziggs being given over repeatedly.
That sign said, don't give up. We haven't given up on you. And this is just, you know, qualifier Showmaker, qualifiers D+. We'll see if it works out for them or if T1 are just going to go as the expected, as the favored team coming into this best of 5. But now we've kind of thrown the script out the window. And we are here in Game 5. We're here in Silver Scrapes. Only one team makes it to Worlds tonight. The loser has a second chance on Saturday. Who's going to do it? Let's find out in Game 5. Here we go, Game 5 of our first best of 5 of the regional qualifiers.
And you could hear it, Valdez, in the screams of the DK fans. This team, 15 match losing streak, I want to say, against a fakerless T1. So they did beat them when Poby was in, but have not been able to outside of that. It's been a really, really long time, because this team is both consistently, ever since 2021, been a solid team, but never been able to actually make it happen. And on the flip side, T1, the defending world champions, were still our representatives at MSI, obviously won EWC, and in the minds of many, were still expected to just somehow make it happen again when we got to that Hanwha versus T1 match.
Well.
I
speak for yourself.
It was like 4 people.
Okay.
I should have known.
Sure.
But I don't think it was and it shouldn't have been, the majority opinion. Is I think Carrier got a bit, but this
is he okay?
No, I don't.
Not the disengage cone.
Okay, well that actually was I would have loved some more action there. That would have been fun.
Yeah, if he was playing around having that, then.
Why he is, right? Because you know that that's going to be there. And now both the junglers are... Actually, it's kind of interesting here because Owner has also started in top. So... Or in his own top side jungle. So I have to see if Lucid can somehow recontrol as... They're level 1.
He has really... Like, it's almost like someone told him, or he told himself, I need to calm down at the beginning of the series, and slowly, game by game, he's just getting more unhinged. and crazy.
Yeah.
With his engages. And now we're in game 5, so we're just cranked up to 11 now.
Yeah, there is Owner actually is again looking to be able to get this 3-quadrant start off. Aiming and Moham gonna try and catch this wave. Do note, Kingen has his flash or his TP rather available, and might be stacking up a Mega in our bar. I don't think that T1 should be looking to dive this, and it's gonna be preemptive actually. So Zeus can now just TP to top, catch that wave. Setup was not the best. I don't think he's going to be able to get the cancel. That is going to be Kingen maybe looking for more, but I don't think that you really have an opportunity to. And this also really delays your back.
Meganar comes in, but he's just punished by Guba Carrier. And Kingen, he's got that unfortunate grin on once again.
Just flash.
Well, it happened so quickly. Poppy engages can sometimes come out of nowhere. I mean, he knows that Poppy can do that, but he just didn't respect it.
Yeah, so TPing over to deny, this is actually such a good little piece. Like, this is a metaphor for this series. TPing bot to deny the 4-man dive so that your bot laners can catch the stacked wave, great. Immediately donating a kill over to the Ashe and Poppy. Not great. Really kind of... Oh! Owner! Oh, I thought they were going to go for it, but it looks like Lucid is just going to be happy with getting the camp. And he is, as a result, not as far behind as initially seemed the case. And now should be able to clear back towards his top side and go from there. As Faker looks like he might be looking to TP back. Showmaker Duno did not actually have to TP as this is a cannon wave, meaning that he will have that summoner advantage. So Kingen now, yeah, is going to be pretty substantially behind when it comes to the experience. As are they going to go for a dive here? Double sums on aiming.
Oh, he's going to get hit into the wall. Once again, cleanses the first part, but then gets rooted up, but they don't quite stick around. Follow up on that one.
Hook is being eaten. Lucid tries to keep the passive up, but with Valkyrie, can they chase?
If he lands the chains, no, nice dodge from Faker. And aiming does have to back. Moham just alone, trying to live under the turret, but they might have the damage. They barely do. And it will be enough to take down Moham. A second kill goes to Carrier.
And the kill's going to Carrier as the only good thing about that for DK. T1, really good, aggressive, proactive play here. And this is one of the big advantages that you have with the Zyra over the Lilia, is that, particularly when you have as good of a setup as the Poppy, Zyra can actually set up these early dives. Lilia doesn't have any CC, your damage is pretty lackluster. You're really looking to get to 6 as soon as humanly possible. At least it's not aiming going down, but it's still T1 accelerating the game through their bot lane like we've seen them do so many times. He's off to a great start here for them.
Yeah, definitely feels good for their side. And we're trying to fight over the grubs here in a moment. It's no Tristana, no Ziggs. Feels kind of weird, but still definitely a very valuable objective in its own right. Owner and Carrier up here, as is Moham. Moham does have a level on Carrier, funnily enough. And looks like DK are just going to be given all 3 of the grubs. Swap did come in there for a moment on the side of T1, but at the end of the day, they will not commit to the objective.
It's actually quite nice here. They are going to just give up the full wave here towards the bottom half of the map. I wonder if they're looking towards a dive. Aiming is moving to catch mid. I can't imagine you would, right? This is a full health Poppy and an Ashe with sums. Maybe they, like, someone needs to catch that bot wave, right? We still have, Aiming was actually on his way, but then changed course, made his way over the mid. I guess that bot wave is just gonna be gone. Zeus is trying to threaten Lucid, crucially, not 6 just yet.
Yeah, not 6. T1 might just be able to take this dragon if they'd like. Guma's getting a lot of alone time with the top lane. Nobody's up there at the moment. Aiming is strutting his way up there. Lucid, meanwhile, all he's done is farm out the jungle. And Zyra versus Lilia going to be much more even when it does come down to the farm between those two. And now it's just 80 carries in the top side, some roaming supports. Moham up towards the top side, and finally Kingen will revisit the bottom lane.
Lucid now, level 6. Keria.
Uh-oh, another one from Keria! Just sets it up so beautifully. And that is a LeBlanc with flash. He had no idea.
Immaculate snap engage there. Ignite as well. Lucid was in the area. Trying to look for something, even hit the bowling ball, but without LeBlanc, there's not enough damage. And this game quickly snowballing away from DK. T1. Blue side has reigned supreme thus far. And it feels like right now the script just continuing.
Okay. Okay.
What an incredible amount of burst.
야, 잡네 이게? 나이스.
You got him? Wow. Or we got him? He was very surprised, although that was the whole plan from the beginning. The beginning of Keria's comms also sounded like he was the one kind of listening. He's like, okay, it's almost like Faker's the one calling for the play, but it's just conjecture from me.
And the kill went over to Faker as well. So in the 1v1, the Corki now building an even bigger lead. And one of the big things with LeBlanc is if she starts falling behind, her life already gets a lot harder. Add that to the fact that there is a Poppy in this game, which always is going to make so many of your plays a lot more difficult to find.
Yeah. Keria just finding the angles in this game has been pretty incredible.
Oh yes, the
so far
ult for damage coming through there. Guma not using his sums. Does mean that if Lucid decides to visit this bot lane, it's not going to be nearly as much threat. Could be an angle for the Dragon here. Lilia obviously having a good amount of damage for that, and it does look like Aiming and Moham will have prio here. We'll see if they go for more. Guma's health bar is quite low, does have his sums available, and Owner will get spotted. So they are going to abandon, just get the crash. Maybe Lucid will look for more, but based on the pings, I think he's just going to clear out his jungle. Leave it at that.
Kingen cutting this out very nicely. And yeah, Zeus not quite able to get anything else done, even though he is up a level. We also do have the Drake being taken finally. He seems really not enjoying their fast Drake takes. Probably part of the reason why the games are lasting so long. But DK are still down 2,000 gold. Aiming trying to get some more, the Gold King himself. Down on the bottom side trying to get some plates. It's Chemtech into Ocean Soul. So just very valuable souls left over.
Straight up TPing Kingen down.
Yeah, you don't have the Ziggs on your team anymore.
Away from the Grubs. And I think they weren't going to be able to contest Grubs anyway. Oh, they're going to look for the dive onto Zeus here.
They can even use their Grubs in this exact moment, you know? As in comes Keria, he says, no, I'm here, you can't do anything. And Kingen going to be forced to flash away from that one. Showmaker, meanwhile, Faker getting a huge amount of bursts onto him. And all of a sudden, the dive is kind of falling apart at the seams as well. And you take a look at the top lane, although I say that, trying to get another engage here onto the Cassante. Kingen trying to drag, or rather Zeus trying to drag in Moham, but now it's Keria up against the wall against two, just 1v2ing, but down will go Zeus as the dive finally does come to fruition here, and Keria as well gets baited into it, and finally DK are able to pull off a couple of kills.
And that will slightly reduce the gold lead that is found here. Actually like this from Aiming, not being in a position where he can get dove. They should get the first turret bot here as well, and I gotta say, felt like T1 kind of walked into that one. Felt safe because it was Poppy and Cassante. But if Kingen is TPing towards bot, maybe just go for the cross map. As the initial play doesn't quite end up working out. But then here, Moham actually does a good job of extending this play. Yes, Aiming gets taken out, but because Kingen is still here, like this is still a 4 versus 2. Poppy, the burst is really good. But once your cooldowns are down, like that's it. You don't really have a whole lot more to offer. So Lucid in the longer trade easily gets it done. And then King, he's Maganar. He has a LeBlanc with him as well. And now, with that turret going down in bot, to be fair, we didn't mention it, but I kind of did expect that something would happen to bring it back to that equilibrium, Valdez.
Exactly, yeah.
No team is running away with any of these games.
You know, I just wasn't sure. I was kind of buying into it. I thought T1, you know, their early game was very clean.
It was.
DK, you know, in a long series, they've never found an angle against Faker's T1
In
very long time, 15 matches.
2021,
Yeah.
everyone. That's a long time.
I thought it was just going to happen. But instead, they found a way. That's another chain and a bunch of damage into Faker, who will be pushed away.
It's going to be a plate, I imagine, towards the top half of the map.
Still got a minute up there. So might even be more. And yeah, I mean, this game is definitely in touching distance for the side of DK. Trying to get this on Aguma. It hits exact. Right on top of the ass, forces that cleanse.
I'm just shocked that Moham didn't flash.
Yeah.
Like,
Where's the engage, Moham? Come on.
it didn't have any vision, so I could have definitely flashed to his death there.
Yeah.
We're not criticizing the decision, but given how the series has played out,
And the way Moham has really ramped up his engage
it really has, yeah.
levels.
Not going to be the case. Also Guma it is, but he would have traded right if he did a vision, perfect vision, which he obviously did not. Still a 1K lead here for T1. And this is one of those games where I do think that both comps have some parts that will scale very well when it comes to the mid to late, and then not so much. As thank you for pointing out, Veldis. The downside of Lucid trying to go for these plays, as Keria just goes for the drive-by ignite, is that we do see that Owner has been able to get a 2-level lead and farm very aggressively, thus being able to get those Sorpent boots early on. And that's the one thing that I do worry about. Like, I think DK's wombo combo will always be there with the Ashe, the Gnar, or the MF, the Gnar, and the Lilia. That's two.
Yeah, that's a double. Trying to come in, but the knockaway on the MF means there's no follow-up. And man, Harry wants to go to Worlds tonight.
That's a TP. We'll see what it leads to. They want to try and play for this. Do note, only Lucid used his ultimate, whereas for T1, it was 2 ults invested. I don't know if that alone is going to be enough as Showmaker.
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, but he is just going to flash
That's
away.
the route.
Yeah, and now trying to challenge in the river. DK trying to come on in. Moham, though, in a bit of trouble, has to flash away from a lot of CC, but he can't get away, and there it is, the re-engage on Aguma, who will go down. And finally, they will get the kill. Moham will have to pay for it, but look at his, he's so low. And the shields, but not gonna happen. Double kill for the Gold King Gaming, who is now very much online, and DK coming back in this game 5.
And the pendulum swings again. Showmaker forced to flash defensively. And T1 attempting to take control. Is going to kill Owner?
I think so. Owner, nope, he's just gonna flash. Okay. Especially with Keria coming over.
Now have to flash as well. Maybe
Keria is pretty fast.
Strutt's available.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, he's fine. Just a, a little bit of wackiness, just to add a little bit on top.
Oh, we're nowhere near the end of the wackiness. Yeah. This series is gonna go on for another.
Just adding to the pile of wackiness. Yeah.
Taking another look, Owner gets zoned away initially by the ultimate from Moham. His Aftershock falls down. Everything looks dire, and then the re-engage actually works as... I think if Zeus just... I don't know what his cooldowns were at that point, but if that MF doesn't go off, that alone would have been enough to keep Guma alive.
Hextech in game 5.
Oh my god, Veldis.
And the gold is exactly even.
It's game 5. I can't wait to see how we get to Elder.
It was just meant to be. Yeah, somebody's going to get the Hextech soul at some point, and they're still not going to be able to get in the game. It's just the way it is in this series. Our 3rd seed to Worlds.
If they don't, if Keria doesn't buckle that blast gun, maybe they can look for a collapse from the Faker, but...
I swear, he's trying, he like really cranked it up to 11 in this game. I don't know, it feels like Keria's just doing everything right. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win, but, Wolf wanted to see a little bit more. Definitely seeing a lot from him.
Is this also the first game where Amy is not playing Ziggs?
Yeah.
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 And I gotta say...
They gave him Ziggs 4 times in a row. Keria, will flash. Just unlocking Hex Flash.
Very nice, very nice. And MF to me is really one of those picks where it feels like it's hard to make the same impact the way that you do with things like the Ezreal, the Kai'Sa, the Zeri that we always go to for aiming. But I do remember him actually having a couple of like PUG-worthy performances with his timing on the ults, his positioning in the fights, which is crazy because normally when a champion doesn't have escapes, I don't really trust him on it. He's been able to make the MF work before as Faker.
Faker is here and he wants blood, and it's LeBlanc. So,
and he doesn't have CC.
Yeah, so Showmaker just dashes away.
But the
it
flash
does push him away though.
The flash is, yeah, but like.
But for what?
For what? Like
Yeah.
maybe you get turret, but I don't even know if that's going to be the case, especially with
He also has
Cascades.
TP. I mean,
I also think flash, as long as Lucid has flash, the amount of setup that you can find with this Lilia pick is really scary. And not having flash available is actually a big deal. Because Moham is, as always, looking for an in-game.
that's his job. I feel like they stuck him on the roster. He doesn't really know why he's there. I don't know, just
He's
my
just
head count.
running around.
Yeah, he's just like running around. He's like, I don't know, like, where I am. Who are these guys anyway? I'm going to look for an engage now. The whole team is backing up. He's like, oh, I guess it's doing
also,
something right.
I gotta say, I think we've, and justifiably so, right? I think support is one of the harder roles to adjust from challengers compared to LCK because
It's a very different game.
It's a very different game. You get punished for so much more. The roam timers, you need to be a lot smarter, a lot more coordinated with the rest of the team. But I can tell you from watching DK that they do really miss DK challengers, that they do really miss Moham. And that his engage sense there ended up working out a lot better. The main question is that enough? As T1, they do actually set up here, and I want to highlight that a little bit. Their zone control is insane, right? With Poppy, with the Zyra plants, with Volley, and just not just Poppy, the W, but also the ultimate. It's actually really hard for DK to approach. As the gold lead basically even, no one is actually going to take the Herald, which means a lot of damage is going to go down. It's a bait.
Okay. It's a, yes. It's yes.
That's
It's
Showmaker.
just a bait. Showmaker TPing in. And
the sleep.
Oh, that's a lot of damage actually. In goes Zeus. Okay. In the face of 4 of them. And he's just going to die. So down he goes. Not really able to get much. Baron is about to spawn.
No, there's no way, Vel.
There's no way at this point in the game.
I do think Herald did get the charge in, so that's nice.
Okay.
I think. I'm not 100% sure. I got distracted by the team fight happening. Aiming has Infinity Edge. Okay. So, pretty ridiculous amount of damage available as... No, it did not, in fact. No, it did.
It did.
Did get a charge up. So the big thing here is that Keria doesn't get to actually use his ultimate, as I think Showmaker finishes the route. And then this looks kind of weird from Zeus, but there's a good chance Showmaker can go for a collapse if the full channel goes through and they are able to follow through. Ends up being still a win for DK, but T1 not too worried as what they gave up there was, I think, relatively minor. What I do think is big is that Gumayushi doesn't have the flash available, and everyone on DK does. And Hextech Drakes, even single ones, matter a lot.
And Faker still doesn't. You know, we talked about that play on the bottom side.
Yeah.
Trying to punish a LeBlanc.
Oh, they're going to look for the cross map on Showmaker here. This is LeBlanc.
This is, yes. Glad you're paying attention, Chronicler. Still LeBlanc. Gonna throw in an arrow, and Guma is very low. It's a million things. It's like bullet hell. Even a boomerang. Wow. Really just throwing the kitchen sink at him. Meanwhile, all of T1 are just pushing top. Here comes DK.
Mega collapse. They have a lot of vision. They definitely know this is coming.
Yeah,
Does that matter?
Well,
Lucid can flash R.
Yeah, Zeus Keria trying to come in as well. Faker a little bit. Okay, he's gonna get out of there, and the Gnar goes flying. The TP comes in, and that is Zeus Moham. Oh no, he's in the front, and down he'll go. But the sleep is coming in. Not a Zeus who flashes forward and goes all out, but down he will go himself. And he's trying to get back in there. The MF ult doesn't do much. Oh, it's gonna keep him around with the Gnar. And they get the kill out to Owner.
The flush!
And they're going for more. They have so much chase potential. The burn.
Is it enough? Guma!
No, down he'll go. And looking for a bit more. Keria just wants to sacrifice himself, and he might be able to, but that is Showmaker. And that'll do it.
Are they gonna get Nash?
I think they can. It's only Faker. He does have TP, but he is just one man.
I thought they had the turnaround. So what happens here, crucially, the teleport comes in. onto one of the wards, and then Carrier knocks away one of the members. So Moam just ends up getting dragged back in the team, ends up going down, and I think just let Zeus die. It's fine, you can let him go down, but they don't do that. And then instead, last second transformation, slams Owner into the wall, flashes out, and then in these type of extended trades, right, like Lilia and LeBlanc are gonna have a field day. Even aiming with the red buff, slowly taking them down. And that's gonna be Hextech Drake as well, but the Baron, as soon as it spawns here for DK and T1, I feel like for them, for DK, it's the decision making. For T1, it's over-investing into plays that you don't need to go for. Just let Zeus die, it's fine. They can never Nash at 20 minutes if it's just him.
Yeah, and composition-wise, you mentioned it already, but LeBlanc and Lilia, that is where they would like to play every single game of League of Legends, every single time. Whereas T1, their comp wants to stay together as a ball and control areas of space, but if you're losing one piece by one piece, it's never going to go well for you. And DK proved that right away. And this isn't a Baron where you're just going to sit around, not really do much with it. They're going to be able to take down some outer turrets. They got that first Hextech Dragon as well. And really beginning to solidify a tangible lead in this game and in this series where we haven't really had a lot of tangible leads. And aiming is 6-0.
That said, Rebel Baron power play, 500 gold. All the gold on aiming with no flash. Drake,
surely he's fine.
Only one up compared to T1. The Corki's slowly getting fed. Are we fighting over blue buff?
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
Zeus has had enough. He has declared that he will not be bullied any further.
I don't know if you want to take this against the Lilia and the LeBlanc.
Yeah, remember what we said about playgrounds?
It looks like they're okay. Able to make it out. DK are still looking for the chase. They have the Baron buff. I don't think they can really get on.
It's a bit of a chunk into Lucid, making things awkward. So, yeah, again, I mean, zone control and the fact that T1 are able to stick together this time and not lose the Cassante means that they're fine. And they're also burning more time from the Baron power play.
Ooh, bowling ball would have been eaten by the spell shield, so wouldn't have actually been an issue.
Owner is
shove in.
level 14. Remember how he was so far ahead the entire time? One team fight, Lucid's right back in the game, level 14 as well.
Oh, deep TP flank. He's available. That's very, that's core of the earth. Is that what that is? That's some deep sea mining, Vel. The ton of think that we can get that to save the turret. That's going to be the inner. So like what, 1500 on the Baron? It's not enough, and we knew it was not going to be enough. It's big.
It feels big in the scope of this series.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
Because we've had so many Baron power plays that are like, oh, well, they got the Baron and the enemy team got the Drake, and nothing happened.
Look at this gold graph, Val. That's not enough fluctuations.
Yeah.
They're too tiny.
Remember game 2, Gold Graph was kind of losing its mind in that one. But
I still feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't know what's going to happen in this series, Val. That says we do see
it's
aiming.
so wacky.
I know. Actually pulling really far ahead when it comes to the experience. Also has LDR already. Very happy to see that it's LDR.
Oh no. Playing Ashe into this. Yep, chains. And he has to cleanse. And Showmaker, you know what? Has to go golden. He's going to hop away.
Probably take that. Guma definitely, without cleanse, going to be a much easier target for someone like Moham.
Showmaker is pretty far away from the Zhonya's, though.
Yeah, Showmaker, so as well as aiming has been doing when it comes to the CS, does come, I think, mostly at the expense of Showmaker. We've seen this before with the LeBlanc, where he generally falls behind, trying to look for plays, trying to look for picks, making these aggressive roams. What is big, though, is that he's still decent when it comes to the experience. On the flip side, though, looking at Faker, has a very solid 10 CS per minute, currently approaching that rapid-fire cannon done. And I think that the Corki really hasn't felt very impactful in this series, but it is one of those champions where if he's left alone in the team fight, he can just completely take over. And again, 3k gold. Where is the gold? It's literally all in aiming, so if Keria and or Owner or Zeus get on top of this MF, that's the lead just completely gone.
Yeah, It's not too easy, though. You mentioned it before.
Oh, for sure.
In the draft, it's like, well, you've got all these champs that are great at controlling space, and we saw a lot of early game engages from Carrier, but especially from behind, it's like...
It's just arrow, really.
Yeah.
Outside of Carrier getting a
get
flank.
on aiming?
Well, yeah, that's the neat thing. You really shouldn't. But, I don't know. Again, anything in this series is possible. So, as the mid-inner falls, DK, from this position, should be looking good. Right? They now have full control of, in theory, have full control of mid-wave. Are definitely gonna get the soul point here. I don't know if they're able to, you know, we don't know what the game is gonna look like when we get to the actual soul, but soul point at least looks very attainable. And if you do get Hextech with LeBlanc and MF, and I mean, I feel like with Hextech you can really say any champion and it sounds good. I feel like
Singed, yeah. Teemo. Actually, Teemo sounds pretty good.
No, can you imagine
honestly.
a Teemo shroom? Like one person steps on a Teemo shroom and...
It's like S tier, actually. Hextech Soul, just not.
But T1 can
Legends.
give this up. And guess what? They do have a whole lot of Baron damage. There's the TP.
Zyra jungle.
Is DK, again, they're here. This time around, not going to fall for that one. They don't have a Tristana, though.
Oh, this angle. This angle, Oguma has to flash, and now Carrier, he's going in, but they have not touched aiming.
That's 2 flashes. Gone here for Guma and Carrier, and Showmaker still happily pushing here towards the bot side of the map. And those TP invested as well. I think T1 thought that DK were going to play more heavily towards the Nash. Or sorry, towards the Dragon, and that they could have an angle.
Instead, they lose some summoners. They lose control of some of the vision. They are going to get it back, but this just gives timing for DK to do the Dragon. Unless T1 are just going to start it on vision.
So Lucid does have his passive stacked up. King and STP, so Kingan should be able to take this as the TP comes in. Can Kingan get Mega?
DK are going to be here. And over the top comes Showmaker through the gate, and he's trying to just take down Nova! He does it, and he's dead. But they got the Drake, and now they're looking to get a bit more. They trade carries. And Zeus in a very awkward spot, but Meganard is going to disappear. Dissipate here.
Are they actually...
Time.
So, when all's said and done, they trade 1 for 1. King and TP, but you got the Hextech Soul Point. So 100% worth it here for DK.
Uh-oh. Little setup.
Moham, he's looking!
Little Moham engage. The Poppy's good for 1 for keeping him out, but the MF ult is fantastic. Zeus, though, trying to find the angle, gets the knock-up on aiming, but the damage is coming in. Carrier goes down, and Zeus has no help. The sleep comes in. Faker and his buddy owner are up against the wall, against the Kingan, and they will not stand. DK, they win the fight, and they're looking to push mid.
Guma, he's standing alone. Have DK really done it after all this time, Valdez? They haven't gotten a win since 2021 when they made it to Worlds, when they were running the LCK.
Look at Showmaker, he knows it's over. D plus Kia, they are going to Worlds, beating T1 in the first best of 5 regional qualifiers. Showmaker will be there no matter what.
And we have not seen that man that happy this entire year. Maybe after the game where they beat Gen G. But DK, we knew coming into the day that anything was possible. But anything being possible and anything actually happening are 2 very different things. As 2 world champions make their way back to Worlds. Aiming makes his way back to Worlds. And Lucid and Moham punch their first ticket.
And the fans are distraught with happiness. DK has never lost at regionals since the Dom1 Gaming days. Showmaker has never missed Worlds. Like I said, he will be there no matter what. You cannot deny Showmaker. He will be at Worlds. They didn't have to do it today, but you might as well. And there you go. I think the cameraman had seen enough.
And again, I want to reiterate how big of a deal this is for DK and how heartbreaking it is for T1. Because DK, we're still going to be favorites going into the lower bracket, but DK have been unable to beat a team ranked above them for what feels like, what, like 2-3 years now?
Something like that.
Ever since 2021, just always gotten close.
Look at Moham living his best life,
but never
engaging.
making it. And as we were just hearing out as well, DK have never lost at regionals ever since the Dumb One Gaming days. But on the flip side, this sets up a universe where it's most likely going to be a telecom war that decides who goes to Worlds. And T1 are our defending world champions, now pushed to, at best, a 4th seed at the World Championship, meaning that
might not even make it. They might not even be there.
It's insane to think about, Valdez, but with this series, that's now all of a sudden a possibility that feels like a reality, and like coming into the day again. We didn't do predictions, but I imagine most of us would have gone the same score that we had in play as 3-1 T1.
I was gonna say 3-1 probably.
It's boring, but that's what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Because DK just haven't been able to actually get it over the line for so long. But just like Hanwha, they say, watch us.
You know, this team fight was where you began to believe as well, where it was just so close. Like, this fight was such on a nice edge, but as we talked about many times, this is where DK's comp are going to shine. They just overstep one step, and they think they have King in, and they don't. It's in their grasp, the game potentially, and DK are like, nope, just snatch that right back.
And we hadn't seen Big Game Hunter Kingen for what feels like a while. That moment right there, that was
glad he's still
game,
with us.
Some big game that he found. Even the draft, right? Like everything kind of came together. Bowen with the engages, aiming having a really clean MF game. At no point did he ever feel threatened. And then Lucid on the pick away, and then this call from Showmaker. Really, the TP not even in the
follow-up
at that point.
Watch out for the toss. Speak of chaos,
this explains a lot, Feld.
Everybody was getting
this
on
explains a lot.
LeBlanc has to mark Ash. Ash no ult. Aiming, keep that in mind. Ignore him, just push. MF at the tower. Yeah, Aiming's like trying to hit Guma. They're like, no, just hit the turret. And then the celebration moment where they realized that they had done it. Aiming did not die the entire game, by the way. He was 6-0. Protect the aiming works out when there aren't a lot of threats on the side of T1. And in a game 5, DK able to figure out that draft as well, able to just get it over the line. You see Showmaker's LeBlanc as well. You see the Lilia used against T1, against Owner. And they did it. Showmaker and Steve plus Kia, they're going to Worlds.
So now the only thing we need is for KT to win the match that they're favored in to get a
surely
they
could beat BNK.
A dream best of 5 between the two teams. Well, a large part of the two teams that were in the 2022 Worlds Finals. What's better than that?
Yeah. What if?
What if they just lose?
What if BNK wins and then beats T1, and then we get none of that?
Yeah,
that also is a
that could
possibility.
also. I love the Gauntlet, Valdez. I know it's not called it's the regional qualifier.
We have a better format now. Yeah.
It's way better, but I still love it just as much.
It's great, and it offers us some great best of 5s like this. This was immensely entertaining. This is one of my favorite casts all year. Actually, it was very fun. We are going to have the full team interview with DK after the space, who will break down what happened in the series if they can manage it.
Good
we'll
luck.
throw it over to Ticon, Ox, and Wolf right now.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the post-match interview translation, joined by D plus Kia, who just secured the third seed of 2024 World Championship in the LCK Regional Qualifiers Round 1 with a 3-2 match score. Let's hear from Kingen, Lucid, Showmaker, Aiming, and Moham. Congratulations! Wow. The fans are so loud, filling up the Lowell Park for you guys. Kingen, how do you feel? You really pulled off that big game hunter mode. You know, it was such an exciting game, and I feel like since we weren't able to show everything we got during the playoffs, we really wanted to have an unregrettable and really good match today. So I'm really glad that we're able to have such a good performance. And so all 5 games today went over 30 minutes with a very long game time today. What mindset did you go into game 5 with? You know, for both sides, both teams, going into game 5 gives you a lot of anxiety. So I think I just really tried to just maintain my composure, and that helped. So it looks like you guys kept leaving Rumble open and then banned him in game 5. So what adjustments did you make in terms of strategy? You know, I think we just left the Rumble pick open because we thought, you know, even if it's like a really big meta pick, there is a chance that the opponent might not have enough experience or practice time with the pick. So I think we really prioritized just on getting, securing the Ziggs on our side. But, you know, we realized over time that Zeus is definitely really good with Rumble, so I think that's what happened, and we ended up banning him at the very end. And so, as the glorious finals MVP last Worlds, what can we expect from you in Europe? You know, there were a lot of moments that we were lacking in, even though we did well at times throughout the playoffs and the regional qualifier. And I really want to be able to show a really good performance when we're at Worlds. And I think, you know, being international, overseas, I think it would be a really good experience for us to just kind of enjoy a change in scenery. So I'm really looking forward to that. Next up, Lucid. This is your first World Championship appearance since debut. So how do you feel? You know, I'm just so happy just being alongside such great players. I think I'm so blessed. And I feel so lucky to be able to make it to Worlds. Honestly, you had an incredible gameplay. And you guys actually never defeated T1 this year, but you ended up managing to secure the LCK third seed with today's victory. So what was the factor that got you the win today? You know, T1's a really strong team, and because of the trend, we just kind of came today thinking it's gonna be a really tough battle, but I think all of my basically Aiming was actually really confident, feeling really rowdy, and actually kept our team spirit up, so I'm very thankful. So what are you looking forward to at your first international match? Honestly, I really want to get a good taste of what it's like playing against other international teams, and I want to be ready for them, and I want to really have a good time. So is there anyone that you want to meet particularly? You know, Wei from LPL is a really good player, so I really want to go up against him. Let's give it up for Lucid. Next up, we have Showmaker. So you broke the consecutive defeat against T1 and have qualified for Worlds 6 times in a row. How do you feel? First of all, Worlds, going to Worlds 6 times in a row is always a great thing. And throughout the ups and downs, I think it just means a lot that we're able to make it to Worlds. So I really want to do well when we get there. So your former teammates, Dokdam, Hoya, and Bertle came here. So it looks like the former teammate worked on you. Do you want to say anything to them? You know, throughout the regular season, they weren't here to support me that much. And it's just, yeah, they always treated me as if they were just an audience, just sitting there to watch the game. But I'm glad, I'm thankful for them, obviously. And so you broke free of the 15-match losing streak against Baker. How does it feel to win such an important match? You know, I'm incredibly happy that I'm able to break free of that losing streak in such an important match, and I really want to just keep it going. So anything you'd like to say to your teammates? You know, everyone's such skilled players, and that's why we won today. And yesterday, our CL players actually helped us a lot, and they actually helped us a lot regarding practicing with matchups. So I'd like to say thank you so much for them.
네, 이어서 에이밍 선수 만나보겠습니다.
And let's talk to Amy. Since LCK was given 4 seeds for Worlds, ever since 2021 summer, every summer season third place team got eliminated from regionals. So you guys are the first one to break the curse and become qualified for Worlds. So how do you feel? I really wanted to qualify for Worlds earlier on. And being able to secure the third seed as the third place team makes me very happy. And from playing Ziggs 4 games in a row to swapping to Misfortune in Game 5, your Misfortune was actually on point, so how confident were you feeling in the VOD matchup? You know, we were feeling that all of our gameplays were actually really good, so our confidence actually kept going up throughout the match. The Worlds will be in Europe this year. What goals and resolution do you have? No, I haven't really been overseas that many times, and being able to go so far to Europe, I feel so lucky about it. I want to have a great time in Europe and really just take it home. Please give it up for aiming.
네, 마지막으로 모함 선수 만나보겠습니다.
Lastly, let's talk to Moham. Since your debut, you have qualified for your first Worlds. How do you feel? First of all, there are a lot of moments where I was a little disappointed, or I can regret. But, you know, my teammates just told me. I mean, Showmaker was the one who told me that he'll actually bring me to Worlds, so I did have faith in him. So I felt pretty comfortable playing today. Were you that confident, Showmaker? Yep, of course I was feeling confident. And Moham, you joined the team in the later half of the summer season. And you got the team the victory in such an important match. So how was preparing for the regional qualifiers? I think we tried our best. We put in a lot of effort, and I feel like there's a lot of moments that I could have done better. So with Worlds being in Europe, what are you looking forward to the most? You know, I was told that the food there isn't very good, but you know, I want to try. And being able to play up against all the other region and internationals, I'm very, very excited for that. You know, today was a rough match. And I feel like, given that I have even extra time to practice for the international, the most important tournament of the year is such a grateful thing, and I want to make sure that we win it all. And Showmaker, D+ Kia, is qualified for Worlds 6 times in a row. Any shout out to your fans? You know, we have 2 rookies in our team this year, and we made it to Worlds. I feel like every Worlds experience is quite meaningful, and I want us to have the best experience out of it. And for all the fans who came out all the way from everywhere in the world, everywhere in Korea, I just want to make sure that we are able to give you a great performance at Worlds. Thank you so much for your support. And that's the end of the interview from D+ Kia. I'm back to the space. Thank you.